Well, if you don't have cool pedals to mess around with, you're not going to sound that great. So there's no better time than the present to go through my pedals, seeing that I can't really get in the garage right now. Let's take a look at my pedals. Had a couple of people ask about what I'm using, so I'll go through everything with you here real quick. Let's go take a look. Hey guys, hey gals, 40 Grit here, 40 Grit Guitars, 40 Grit Studios, 40 Grit Garage. Wanted to go over my pedals with you today, but I feel awkward sitting here without a guitar in my hand, so I was looking at what guitar I was going to pull out, and I decided to pull out my 1986 Kramer transition neck. This is not the three-piece, this is the transition neck that that Kramer had on these. When I was growing up, we had a place in Detroit called Dr. Guitar. It was on Ford Road and Merriman. And that's where everybody went for lessons. And everybody just went to go hang out after school. So there was a guy named Ralph who owned the store. And there was a kid that always came in, and he was a huge Dokken fan. And his name was Roger. And Roger came in with this guitar every day. He would just go in there and hang out and play. And he could shred like Lynch, and it was cool to just sit there and watch him. And this was always the guitar that that I looked at and said, God, I just wish one day I could have a Kramer that said American on it, because I had mentioned to you guys before, I think my first guitar, my first Kramer, which I think was my first guitar, was the Harmony guitar out of the Sears catalog. And then my second guitar, which was a Kramer, that was a Kramer Aerostar. It had a 6-screw on it, and it had a pick guard. It looked like a Stratocaster. So I would sit there and watch Roger play this guitar and just sit there and look at it and go, God, I wish that one day I could have a guitar that said Kramer American. So that's why I grabbed this one. Cool guitar. I've got another three-piece in the closet that I just stumbled on the other day. So I'm going to pull these out and we'll compare the two in one of the videos. So that'll be kind of cool. Same color, same condition. This is in fantastic shape. So I will pull those out in a later video, and we can compare the three-piece neck off the transition. That'll be a cool video to do. But let's go ahead and take a look at the pedals today. Like I said, somebody asked, so I'd rather sit in here in the air conditioning and talk about pedals. So let's go do that. Okay, so this is the pedal board that I use primarily on the videos. Again, somebody had asked me to, what pedals I use and stuff like that. So I'll just go through these real quick. There's nothing magical here. Just had some people wanted to see what I was using. So I do like the one-stop power supply. The reason I like that is because you don't have to. There's no split there. The One Spot Pro, there's no split there for the 18 volt. On the Voodoo Lab, you have to split the 18 volt on the older ones that I had. So I do like the One Spot Pro. I use that on both of my pedal boards. This one is the one that I primarily use. In from Instrument to my Peterson Strobo Stomp. I like those. The big digital display, the older I get, the harder I have a hard time seeing. So, and you can choose your color on that, and everything works well. And then I go to the Wah, which is a George Lynch Dragon 2. I do like the Morley because of the no on and off stomp for the switch. Plus, there's some other cool stuff you can do on that Dragon 2. I do like those Morley Wah pedals. And then now this is front of amp going through the front. Wah pedal, and then up to my phase, and then to the micro flanger. I have huge pedal boards out in the garage that I used to use when I was gigging, but the older I get, I realize I'm probably not going to be gigging again anytime soon. So I like to keep the mess down in the guitar room, and just be able to have the ability. Everything's been redone. I ripped off the old Velcro and put the new double lock stuff on. So pedal boards are nice and clean now, and you can keep your pedal board clean. In the older days, I could care less. My pedal boards look like George Lynch. I just throw something on there for the gig, but now I keep them a little cleaner. So from the Wah pedal, we go up to the. I just picked up this Zach Wild phaser from Dane over at Zim's Guitars at the Larry Mitchell Clinic. I picked this up. And I like it. It just seems like the speed's a little different. So, it's fun to mess around with. I did have the Univibe on there. Univibe, a it'll be a phaser or a Univibe for me. DeMartini likes the Univibe, and there's some cool stuff that he's done with those. So I had the Univibe on there for a little while, and then the micro flanger, just to keep the size down. I do have another EVH flanger that I was going to throw on here, but there's just not room, and it's not really that important right now. With regards to the effects loop, I've got the Steel Panther 1987, which I'm really impressed with. I like that. I like the delay on that for some reason. It's got a good delay, and then I got the Keeley modified made in Japan Chorus CE2, which on both of my choruses, on both my CE2s, one's Keeley modded, which has some special stuff on there. Plus, you've got the blue light versus the red. But uh, I stumbled on that on Craigslist one day. Some guy was selling it, and I called Keeley and asked him what modifications, and it was a package deal on those. So that's got some more presence on the on the rate and stuff like that, and the depth. And he went through it with me, but I kind of lost him on the phone. So, anyways, it sounds good, and I like that one. I like those courses. The Boss courses are pretty awesome. The old made in Japans. I do hear a difference when I plug into the newer ones, and I actually have a Wazacraft that I'll show you guys once we get over to the to my other pedals. But yeah, I like the Boss C2s for the chorus. They're pretty awesome. And then the EVH switch. So yeah, this is the pedal board that I use primarily when I'm doing my videos. This is the board that I have on my 412 with the I'm running the 50 watt 5150 right now. That 5152 when I went through my amps, that was my number one go-to amp for years when I was gigging. And now she pretty much just rests, but I would never sell it. I had to put an output transformer in that. It's got a Mercury Magnetics output transformer, and it did sound better after I swapped that out. But this is the board that I use on this. In from instrument to the Peterson, and then it rolls over to the EVH wah, which is one of my favorite wah pedals. From the EVH wah. Now this is all front of amp. This goes from the wah pedal to my Phase 90 to the EVH flanger, and then out. And then at the top, I always ran my effects loop. That's the new the EVH SDE 3000. Got to be honest with you, very overwhelming for me. Well, with that delay, I've got it and I dig it and I think it's cool, but I don't think I'll ever go to the wet dry wet setup, just because wet dry wet's very. This is my opinion. Wet dry wet is very specific. It's a very specific sound. It's very specific to some artists, and it just doesn't sound right with everything. So I will probably stay away from wet, dry, wet, but it sounds good. The green is the non-wet, dry, wet, and then if you switch over to the 1, 2, 3, and 4 settings, it goes red, and those are your wet, dry, wet settings. So I read the owner's manual on this a couple times, figuring it out, and it does sound good. You can do some presets on it and stuff. You can make your own. I really don't have the desire to do that when I have my Boss DD3. Boss DD3 has always been, all my Boss are made in Japan, the one that I use. They just sound really good, and they're old school, and they remind me of being in 7th grade and playing guitars and stuff. So I usually stick to the Boss stuff. So on the top level there, that's my standard setting for my delay, and then the lower was Cathedral. When I would gig, I would play Cathedral, and that was the setting that I determined sounded the best for Cathedral. And then you come over to the 5150 chorus, the MXR, which is a fantastic chorus pedal. I love it, and I usually don't play through this amp very much. I'm kind of on that Iconic right now. I do like that Iconic a lot, so it just is what it is. I mean, people have different ears, and it sounds good right now to me. And I've been using that amp a lot, and I've actually been watching a lot of YouTube stuff, and people are saying that they think highly of that Iconic amp. So I'm not playing through this amp very much, but that That EVH Chorus is a fantastic pedal. If you don't have one, I would highly recommend that. And again, this is all through the effects loop, all my delays and reverb, anything like that, I'll run through the loop. Pete Thorne says it best when there's no math, there's no rhyme or reason as to your pedals in order they go. I think there's a base of where everything should go, and then you can mix it up as you like. But this is pretty much the base, in my opinion. And then I'll switch them out every once in a while and try something different. But this is my second pedal board in the room, and this is the amp that I'm not using that much. But that cabinet sure looks cool. Some of you guys may have seen this. This is one of George Lynch's distortion pedals from the Dokken era. He sold 4 of these one night on Reverb. I was lucky to jump on there and grab it. This is a made in Japan long dash, and it was the only made in Japan that was on there, so I grabbed this one. Gerard is his longtime tech. I asked Gerard why his name was on the pedal, and he had told me that he traded this pedal to George years ago for an MXR flanger. So kind of a cool story there. And then George gave me a letter of authenticity, Dokken era DS1, Japanese, owned and used by George Lynch on records and tours, signed by George. So a cool piece of rock history. I bought a special little case, or actually I had it in the garage for it, and I won't use it. It'll just sit in the case, and my son will figure out what to do with it one day. If you ever had a chance to check out the Ibanez airplane flanger, the Paul Gilbert, these are cool. The takeoff button's cool, something cool to throw in there when you're, in the middle of a solo or something. I used to do it all the time. When I had a bigger board, I used to run this on my board just for the takeoff itself. So cool flanger. If you ever run by one of those, definitely pick it up. They're worth whatever you pay for it. I think they're still making them too. This is a Wazacraft Chorus C2. This is the Waz, like I said, signed by Dave Friedman. Dave owned this one, and I asked him to sign it for me. He was selling some stuff on one of his shows, and but yeah, owned by Dave Friedman, and that's kind of cool to have. I got miscellaneous pedals down here. I use the boost pedals on when I had my 5152. I would use it as a channel 3. And on my 5150s, actually it was the 5150s, I would use it for channel 3. And then on the 5152, I still use it on boost because I like the red channel for my rhythm, and then I would just boost that channel for my solos. I use the MXR Smart Gates when I do use the PVs. I got some Sir buffers left over. You don't really need those anymore because the tuners have the buffers on them now. There's a looper in there. I've got a bunch of pedals there that they're just on Poontang Boomerang. That's the Steel Panther. I bought those as they came out, and they're cool to have. I got a Phase 90 there, EVH. Bunch of stuff in there. I got a bunch of wah pedals too. I got the Kirk Hammett in there, the Zach Wild. I've got the red, white, and black EVH wah, which is I guess was a special edition. And yeah, so anyways, that's my pedal stuff. I just wanted to go through that with you guys because I know that a couple people had asked. And hey, if I can shoot a video right now and stay out of the garage, I'm all for it. So any questions, please hit me up on this, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have. I am by no means a pedal genius, or obviously I have cable management issues, but I think I kind of got it figured out for the tone that I like. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Well, hopefully you guys enjoy taking a look at my pedals. Any questions, please hit me up. And, I just like sharing this stuff with you guys. And like I said, a couple people asked. So I'll go through it with you. Any questions, please hit me up. And I appreciate you watching my channel. I appreciate the subs. Like I said, I'm talking to my son right now about going live. I would like to go live just to sit there and talk about guitar stuff with you guys. So that's probably going to happen sooner than later. I just have to figure out the dynamics with regards to using StreamYard versus just using YouTube. So we're working on that right now, and hopefully I'll be able to meet all you guys soon, and start doing some live streams with you, talk about guitar stuff, because there's nothing more I like doing than sit around and talking about guitars. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Please tell your friends. I mean, it'd be cool to continue to build this channel. And if there's anything that you guys would like to see, any kind of repair stuff, or please throw it in the comments. I'd be more than happy to go over what it is I can share with you with whatever knowledge I have. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.